Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Bahasham, Barakahak Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. In peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off in Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red. And, this is speaking of the so-called, four horsemen of the apocalypse, which is just parabolic for different events that would be taking place in the last days. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. And in the scriptures, horses can be symbolic for power. Just think about horsepower with a car. And this red horse is speaking about Esau Edom, the so-called white man, coming back into power during this little season of his final rulership, which began with the Renaissance or the rebirth. And, we can link it up with scriptures to show that this is talking about Esau Edom. First, we're going to deal with the fact that the horse was red. This is Genesis chapter 25, verse 25. And the first came out, red all over, like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. These Edomites are the true red man because they have, biblical leprosy. They don't have any melanin in their skin, so what? Their blood shoots forth through their skin. Hence, why they're red. They stay out in the sun too long, they get sunburned and turn red, and they have that term redneck. And it also says that what? There was given unto him a great sword. And when we go to Genesis chapter 27, dealing with Esau Edom's blessing, we'll see it lines up. This is Genesis chapter 27, verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. And we can clearly see that these Edomites are in control of the planet right now. Anywhere that there's a natural resource in the earth, Edomites aren't too far behind exploiting it. Some of the best, resorts on the planet, you got Edomites there. The Edomites are in control of what? The banking industry, diamond industry, Hollywood, so entertainment, etc., etc. Verse 40. Oh, and lest we forget the dew of heaven from above, these Edomites have these satellites in low Earth orbit and, these space stations and stuff like that. Verse 40, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. But as it says, and by thy sword shalt thou live. Esau Edom gained the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven through his military might. We saw during the Renaissance that Esau brought a whole new dimension to warfare with what? Those muskets and cannons. Then it transitioned to what? Machine guns and chemical warfare and those biplanes during World War I, tanks and fighter jets, and now to their ultimate sword, those nuclear missiles. And as it says back in Revelation chapter 6, verse 4, and they would take peace from the earth by that sword. Since Esau came into this little season of his final rulership, this planet has been in a state of constant warfare and chaos. Hell, we're on the verge of World War III. But I opened up the video with these verses to preface a video on the YouTube channel Forgotten History titled Most Deadly, Agent Orange, Forgotten History. And hey, this is just another example showing Esau Edom being that red horse, using his great sword to take peace from the earth. And Agent Orange was a chemical defoliant used during the Vietnam War to what? Destroy the jungle so the NVA and the Viet Cong wouldn't have a place to hide. But the side effects for it were horrific and are felt to this very day. Soldiers, U.S. soldiers got sick, and you've got Vietnamese people getting born with defects from it. This man truly is the son of perdition, as it says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And when we go to that word perdition, it's in the Strongs, it's G684, apoleia. And what does it read? Destroying, utter destruction. And it says under it, of vessels, and the human body can be a vessel. So what? Esau, Edom is clearly that son of perdition. As we'll see, with this information on Agent Orange. And this is a really good channel. The guy, the Edomite looking person who does this channel, hey, he goes into a lot of the dirty secrets in American history that they don't talk about. But I'm going to play, the majority of this video to get the point across. And this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
The Vietnam War left many legacies, and one of the most insidious was the long-lasting effects of herbicides. Thousands of veterans who served during the war and became ill were abandoned by their government, denied assistance, and forced to lobby for their basic right to live the rest of their lives with dignity and to take care of their families. What was Agent Orange? Why was it used? What was the long-term effect? Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, a veteran of the United States Army and Marine Corps, former history professor, book author, and welcome to this episode of Forgotten History. Under Operation Ranch Hand, the powerful herbicide Agent Orange was used by the U.S. military during the Vietnam War to destroy forest cover and agriculture for the North Vietnamese and Viet Cong, and was used in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos from 1961 to 1971. The U.S. program used more than 20 million gallons of various herbicides, such as Agent Pink, Agent Green, Agent Purple, Agent White, and Agent Blue, and it was used on 4.5 million acres of Vietnam alone. These were sometimes all referred to as Agent Orange 1, Agent Orange 2, Agent Orange 3, and Super Orange. These herbicides were manufactured by several companies such as Monsanto and Dow Chemical Company.
And isn't Monsanto responsible for a lot of the herbicides used on the vegetables and fruits we eat today? Hey, that son of perdition still doing that dirty work, swinging that great sword.
Each had different chemical combinations, and the solutions varied in their varying degrees of strength and effectiveness. The most widely used toxic chemical was dioxin, which even at that time was known to have serious health effects. Vietnam claims 500,000 children have been born with serious birth defects, while as many as 2 million people are suffering from cancer or other illnesses caused by Agent Orange. Due to the large numbers of
that great horse that took peace from that great red horse that took peace from the earth with that sword,
issues, including cancers such as Hodgkin's disease, prostate cancer, and leukemia, birth defects, rashes, and severe psychological and neurological problems, the Veterans Administration refused all claims stating that they were not service-related. This information regarding the long-lasting effects of these chemicals was kept from military and veterans. But in 1988, an Air Force researcher, Dr. James Clary, who who had been involved with Operation Ranch Hand years earlier, wrote a report. His report and a formal letter was sent to Senator Tom Daschle stating, "When we initiated the herbicide program in the 1960s, we were aware of the potential for damage due to dioxin contamination in the herbicide. However, because the material was to be used on the enemy, none of us were overly concerned. We never considered a scenario in which our own personnel would become contaminated with the herbicide." Agent Orange was the most widely used herbicide, and more than 13 million gallons of it was used, which was almost 2/3 of the total amount of all herbicides used during the entire Vietnam War. In 1979, a class action lawsuit was filed on behalf of 2.4 million veterans who were exposed to Agent Orange. And 5 years later, the 7 large chemical companies that manufactured the herbicide agreed to pay $180 million in compensation to the veterans or their next of kin in an out-of-court settlement. Various challenges to the settlement followed, including lawsuits filed by some 300 veterans before the U.S. Supreme Court confirmed the settlement in 1988. By that time, the settlement had risen to some $240 million, including interest. In 1991, President George H.W. Bush signed the Agent Orange Act into law, which helped codify the VA's response to veterans with conditions related to their exposure to Agent Orange. Previously, the VA consistently denied any and all claims. Subsequently, in 2004, a group of Vietnamese citizens filed a class action lawsuit against the same 30 chemical companies, including the same ones that settled with U.S. veterans in 1984. The suit, which sought billions of dollars worth of damages, claimed that Agent Orange and its poisonous effects left a legacy of health problems and that its use constituted a violation of international law. In March 2005, a federal judge in Brooklyn, New York, dismissed the suit.
And look at the name of that judge.
Another U.S. court
small
rejected
hat.
a final appeal in 2008, causing outrage among Vietnamese victims
Listen to this.
of Operation Ranch Hand and U.S. veterans alike. Author Fred A. Wilcox informed the Vietnamese Express International, "The U.S. government refuses to compensate Vietnamese victims of chemical warfare because to do so would mean admitting that the U.S. committed war crimes in Vietnam."
Which the whole Vietnam War was a crime against humanity, just like all these other wars and false flags that you Edomites commit to continue your rulership. And you had Agent Orange during Vietnam, and then the use of depleted uranium during the war in Iraq, which led to adverse health effects in the U.S. soldiers that were around it. And you've got Iraqi children being born, with birth defects unto this day due to the use of depleted uranium. If this Edomite were not stopped and these days were not shortened for the elect's sake, as it says in Matthew chapter 24, then no flesh would be saved. But hey, there have been bounds set up that this Edomite cannot pass in his rulership, and he's just about reached them. And the cancer of the earth is finally going to be taken out. But let's get back to these precepts. This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 18. "And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great," the elect of the nation of Israel being saved and being the first fruits in the kingdom of heaven, building it up. And then the time of the dead, that they should be judged. This nuclear destruction coming to wipe off, the wicked of our people and everybody in America outside of the elect. And then after the dust settles from World War III, Yahushua and the 144,000 coming off the chariots to begin establishing the kingdom of heaven, which involves putting you remaining heathens into slavery so that you can build up the kingdom of heaven, that they should be judged. And what does the last part say? "And shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth." And as it says in Job chapter 9, verse 24, the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, and the border of wickedness, as pursuant to Malachi 1, verse 4, are you Edomites. And we clearly saw from that clip that you Edomites, hey, you are destroying the earth. You destroyed that vegetation in Vietnam, and you destroyed people's lives, the lives of your own soldiers and the lives of the Vietnamese. And now I'm going to close it out in Isaiah chapter 14, verse 4, because when you Edomites, the wicked, are finally taken out of power, the planet is going to be at rest, and they're going to rejoice because you're no longer swinging that sword on them. This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 4, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. And the United States of America is known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures, that virgin daughter of Babylon. And the king of Babylon is ultimately the elites who pull the strings behind the scenes, like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Because the United States of America is going to get hit with 200 million nuclear missiles during World War III, which is going to turn it into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea, and then a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland afterwards. And America, Babylon, is Esau Edom's main stronghold. So when that goes, hey, that's kaput for his rulership. And then, the time of the dead that they should be judged. You heathens, beginning with the elites, getting put into slavery. Verse 5, Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, such as using Agent Orange in Vietnam, he that ruled the nations in anger, going into sovereign lands and overthrowing their governments to set up puppets to allow you to grape that nation of its resources and bring your wicked philosophies to those nations to destroy them, such as democracy, feminism, capitalism. The Rainbow Coalition is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing, because while these other heathens, along with you Edomites, are going into slavery, after that first 1,000 years of the kingdom, they're going to be allowed to go back to their lands, and they're going to live at peace under the subjection of the Israelites, under the subjection of the laws, statutes, and commandments, which is the only way to govern, the people and the planet. And they're going to see what a righteous rulership looks like. As it says in Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. They're going to have clean water, clean air, a clean environment, non-GMO foods, and the family structure is going to be put back in order with the man at the head and women and children under his subjection. There's going to be no more confusion out here, no more 72 identifications, all this madness. Verse 8, yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee. Nature itself is going to rejoice at your downfall because you're no longer going to be destroying it. What, chemtrails in the sky, pouring pollution into the oceans, strip mining the lands for their resources. Hey, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. And a feller is someone who cuts down trees. Hey, Esau boasts in cutting down trees. They have that show called Axemen. And also, Esau has been a chemical feller by what? Spraying Agent Orange on the jungles of Vietnam, causing those trees and that vegetation to die off. But that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites, the wicked, the son of perdition, that red horse that took peace from the earth. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal.